What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today, BCH USD. It is the 9th day of November today, you guys, and here we are just below $500. Shout out to the Dragon Riders. 7 hours, 43 minutes left in this day here. You guys hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. I'm anxious. I'm what's the word I'm looking for? I'm excited. I'm giddy. I'm anticipating that any day now it's going to be Bitcoin Cash's day, right? Like today. Today is Monero's day, right? Today might even be Zcash's day because it's up, or Dash's day, whatever. It's what coin is up a lot today? It's Monero's day. Today it's Monero's day. Tomorrow might be Bitcoin Cash's day, or the next day, or sometime soon. And when I say it's going to be Bitcoin Cash's day, I mean from here, you guys, we're probably not going to spend much time between here and breaking out to prices that are even above $700. Like we're at this kind of twilight zone right now where Bitcoin Cash is below $500 and it's about to rip above $700 in a very short amount of time, right? Like imagine all the people who wish that they bought Zcash yesterday below $500. It was literally at $488. And now it's almost at $700 because they see it's going to go to 700 and probably even beyond, right? Bitcoin Cash hasn't even started its move yet. It's going to start off with a sub $500 to $700 move and beyond, right? We're going to move up to $1,000, $2,000, $4,000 inevitably with this move. And actually, let's just talk about that. Let's jump right into it, okay? This overall consolidation phase that we've had here, right? It's actually, I think, very comparable to Zcash's overall consolidation phase as well. And I think we said this last time, right? I mean, you look at it, right? You've got the initial pump, the lower high, right? The triangle of consolidation here, and then we broke out to the upside. Bitcoin Cash, you've got the same triangle of consolidation. It's a little different. Technically, you have higher lows here, but it's a little different. But you're right at the precipice of the break, right? You're literally right there where you're going to break out. It's like equivalent to being right here for Zcash. We're like right in that moment. And where did Zcash go? Where is Zcash going overall? It's probably going to go to its top point here. It's the same thing that I'm forecasting for Bitcoin Cash. For a long time, I was hesitant on talking about these numbers so candidly. We mentioned them here and there, but largely talked about this area because it's the first, that's our most recent high. So it makes sense that we might find turbulence there. Right? Maybe this would happen at a later date. But with the reactions that we're seeing in Zcash, Dash, other cryptos that are pumping, that are seeing multi-cycle consolidation phases break, it makes a lot of sense that we'd go right up to the top of this zone here. Something that is right there at about, that the top is at $4,300. So 4,000, 43, 3,800, whatever. Something higher. If we take a high to a low here, 3,700, that's our 1272. We're either going to stop. I really do believe Bitcoin Cash by the end of this year will either be at $3,700 or $5,600 or somewhere in between. Something in this area by the end of the year. If not, maybe January of 2026. But from here, from the current price, that is a 7x to an 11x, almost a 12x move. And with the 1 for 1 for typically you do go a little bit above there. So let's just call it a 7x to a 12x move. Genuinely. Massive, massive potential. Absolutely. Right? That's the equivalent of buying Zcash here, right? Here you've got an 8x move. Literally the equivalent of buying Zcash right whenever it was breaking out there. We're at that same place with Bitcoin Cash here. But the chart, the structure, it's just perfect. It's literally perfect. Right? We look at this on a weekly time frame. Let's zoom it out a little bit more here. Okay. Let's see. Put this. Let's just bring this over here. Right. Put this right at the top. Right at the absolute top. Come on. And then tie this in with that high over there, right there, and boom. You back. It couldn't be any more perfect. It's literally perfect. The structure that we're forming here. So the reason why we're focusing on this so much is because, again, it's going to make your head spin how fast this thing moves whenever it wants to move. We're not going to stop here. We're not going to break out just to stop here at prior areas of resistance here. Maybe we stop right here for a little bit, a little like midway move, but we likely do continue pushing on all the way up to $4,000. And if not, by the end of the year, then sometime in January, we should be at 4,000, around there, give or take $500 in any direction, right? If we're looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, zooming way the hell in now, talking about the short-term stuff, okay, $498 now. I don't anticipate that we'll be below $500 for too much longer, you guys. The 1 hour RSI is productive. You're getting overbought. You're bouncing off the oversold zone. Nice to see. Stochastics look good, and I mean, really, they look kind of choppy, but they look fine. They're more bullish than bearish, at least, right? The MACD is crossing above the zero. That's bullish as well, and you've got this trajectory here of higher lows on your oscillators, so that's nice to see. 4 hour time frame here, zooming out. You're about to cross above the zero here. The last time you crossed above the zero was right here, and you basically just moved straight up. Oftentimes, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but when the 4 hour time frame, when the MACD crosses above the zero, we go through a consolidation phase. It doesn't look like we did here with the MACD, but you can see we consolidated for about a day, and then we pushed higher. The move up was nice, and then we crossed the zero right there, and we consolidated for about a day, and then we moved up higher. The move up higher was much nicer actually than the initial phase was. Let me fix this real quick. There we go. For some reason the volume was all off. It was all weird. Let's see. See, it's still doing it. Let me fix that again. Hold on. I don't know why it does that. That's better. That's less annoying. So yeah, I would expect that we move up higher going over the coming days. You know, maybe Monday, Tuesday we consolidate, and then Wednesday, Thursday this next week we really should break out. I would not be surprised at all if by the end of this week we were closing above $700, let alone 600 or more. It doesn't have to happen. If it doesn't happen this week, whatever. Again, Bitcoin Cash's time is going to come. We're just biding our time right now. But looking at all these indicators, you're looking like you want to bounce off the 50, bouncing off the 50 here, looking like you want to cross above. I mean, all of these signs tell me that we have some continuation rather immediately incoming. And once we break above this level here, yes, once we break above this level here, $576, really, I think this might be the more important level right there at about 565, somewhere in this zone. We break above that zone on a 4 hour or daily closing basis, it's on. There's no more, at that point, there's going to be a very short amount of time for anybody to buy Bitcoin Cash below $600, because at that point we're just going to rip all the way through and probably never return to these prices ever again in Bitcoin Cash's life. Genuinely. Daily time frame, bullish divergence on the RSI, shifting upwards here, shifting to bullish. It's kind of a neutral stance right now. Stochastics look bullishly, what sort of, I want to say implied, because you're pointed upwards like this. And the MACD, you do have no bullish divergence, but bullish convergence. I don't know. You're ready to break out above the zero. There's not a whole lot to go off of on the MACD, but typically the MACD is less reliable when you're moving sideways, and we have been kind of moving sideways since the 10th of October over the past month, so that's fair. When we do break out, again, spectacular, extraordinary price action. That's what we're expecting. From a high to a low, the next target area to consider based off of these fibs would be $1,000 to $1,400. But again, regardless of where these levels are, these key levels are, maybe we move up, we find some turbulence here and there, whatever. I believe that we're working our way all the way up to $4,000, guys. From a high to a low of this range here that we've been in since March of 2024. Okay, we've been in this range since March of 2024. The measurement of the high to low of that range there, the double golden extension, the 2618, takes us all the way up to $4,000, which happens to be right there where our prior areas of resistance are here. If we take a high here to a low here, our 1272, oh, come on. Our 1272 is very close to that level as well. Right? And then again, of course, we have the all-time high itself. And on a monthly time frame, we have a monthly high close here. There's not really anything that would suggest that we stop here other than that, but maybe we find some turbulence at $2,300, maybe. What about on a weekly time frame? What was the all-time high weekly close? Let me see. A little bit higher, like $3,000. I don't know, man. I really do think that we're going to see something between about $3,600 to $4,300, if not even higher. And again, if not by the end of the year, then by the end of January. That's my expectation. I think that we really are going to see some spectacular results from this reaction overall. The most bullish thing, I mean, there's so many bullish things that we're going to go over right now. Ready? The most bullish things, there's a trifecta of bullish things happening here for Bitcoin Cash. The first and most obvious is the structure of the chart. Okay, we are bouncing off of a prior resistance point that's been holding Bitcoin Cash down for its whole life. We've broken out of it. It's been about half a year that we've been broken out of it, and we back tested it for support, and we found support, and we're likely going to move higher. That's bullish. That in itself, standalone, is bullish. This, I could look at this chart by itself and be like, dude, we're going through the roof. We're going to the moon. And inevitably, Bitcoin Cash, you will see new all-time highs. I got distracted. I meant to say you will see, I think, a $13,000 to a $25,000 price by the end of this cycle. Not by the end of January, by the end of the cycle, sometime in May or June, maybe even April, somewhere in that kind of time frame. That's my thoughts. But again, this structure here in itself, oops, I thought I had it. Well, I guess not. I must have deleted it and then done something different. This structure here alone is enough to make me super bullish. Okay, that's a very bullish implication right there on this chart. Let alone the fact that on the MA ribbon, on the monthly time frame, we've flipped our ribbon positive. We've actually flipped it to the bullish effect. You went from a bearish ribbon on your monthly time frame for your whole life to flipping it bullish. This doesn't happen in crypto. It's not that it's never happened before. It's just that 99% of the coins that flip bearish on their monthly ribbons, they don't flip bullish again. Or if they do, it's at the very cycle end. It's at their cycle euphoria phase, and it's not a long-lasted result. This has very bullish aspects about it. Some very bullish promise to it, okay? This in itself would make me bullish as hell on Bitcoin Cash for the months and years ahead. This ribbon in itself would make me bullish as hell. This in itself would make me bullish as hell. We've got two very macro significant things that have serious implications for Bitcoin Cash. And then we look at the BCH BTC chart. And yes, it's in the dumps. This chart is in the dumps, you guys. But this in itself is also reason to get excited, right? You've got a very long-term, very long-term downtrend that's slowly rounding its bottom. You see how the bottom is rounding here? Look up, what does a rounded bottom, frying pan, saucer pattern, right? There's a saucer pattern, a frying pan pattern, rounded bottom pattern. They're all the same thing. What does that mean? What does that look like? If you look that up on Google, you go to images, it'll look something like this. And what it means, if you look that up on Google as well, is long-term accumulation. There's a transition, a shifting in momentum, right? Bitcoin has dominated Bitcoin Cash its whole life, but something's happening here, isn't it? Something this cycle, it's obvious that something different is going on here versus the whole rest of your life where you've just been in a straight shot down, right? Something different is happening here. The momentum is shifting. When that pressure releases from this shift in momentum, we're going to get, for the first time in Bitcoin Cash's history, higher highs and, well, I guess we won't have higher lows, will we? But we'll have significant macro higher highs. We've never had that before, right? Something's going to change here. We'll be breaking out of our downtrend officially. And when you break out of that downtrend versus Bitcoin on a monthly macro scale, that's significant. That would have me bullish for years to come by itself, let alone this, right? You've got all three of these things together. I really do think that Bitcoin Cash is going to shine. And then not to mention when we're up here, when we're at new all-time highs, all the discussion of people saying, well, if Bitcoin Cash is here, and people actually give it an honest shake, they do their research, because people aren't going to talk trash about Bitcoin Cash. Right now, people talk trash about Bitcoin Cash. They don't have to do their research. There doesn't have to be any facts backing it up, right? The price speaks for itself. The price speaks for itself versus Bitcoin. But if you want to talk trash about it here, you want to talk good about it here, and you know nothing about it at all, you're going to have to do your research. And the more research people do, the more they're going to find, wow, this actually is the better Bitcoin. It's better for peer-to-peer cash. It's not trying to compete with Bitcoin at all. It doesn't want to be a store of value coin. It wants to be a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. When people start to realize that, they're like, oh my God, it's cheaper. Oh my God, it's got the same fundamentals but better. The thoughts are going to come into everybody's head. If Bitcoin's at $100,000, Bitcoin Cash could see that price too. Now, I don't think we're going to see $100,000 by the end of the cycle. I'm just thinking that thought process could really allow for us to push beyond 20K this cycle. But we'll see. Anyways, I don't have anything else that I want to say. I've said everything I need to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. The weekly ribbon, the monthly ribbon, they're bullish as hell. The daily ribbon's not, but that's okay. We're about to cross up above it. I got nothing else for you guys. Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye-bye.